Prayer to the Divine Mother of many names. I experience and enjoy everything through your grace. You have given a wonderful presence to my life. I see your bliss in every moment. I thank you for everything you have given to me. I want to see you. I want to enjoy your bliss very deeply. I want to smell your scent. I want to understand your greatness. I know you are the creator of the universe. There is nothing except you on this planet. Whatever moves in its own time, all is your energy. I know this is your creation. Please, please, let me see you. I don't know in which form you live. I don't know what face you are wearing. Please show yourself to me. My truest yearning is to see you, to speak to you, to enjoy your energy. These are the words of Sri Kaleshwar.
With those beautiful words, it's goddess power time, literally, on this planet. And we're beginning that program, a program called Goddess Power. It's the time for Goddess Power, the 9 nights and days of Navaratri celebrating the greatness of the one true great power, the Divine Mother.
And actually it's 10 days because the 10th day is the day of victory, which is really important to us because that really marks what this whole festival is about. Mm-hmm. And what we're doing is that supreme victory.
And that 10th day really is an homage and a reference to our lineage, our lineage of the Guru Parampara, Sri Guru Dattatreya and Shirdi Baba and Sri Kaleshwar, amongst others, who really always included that 10th day for reasons that we'll talk about and reasons that this planet desperately needs right now.
So let's talk a little bit about what Navaratri is, because billions of people around the world are celebrating it, and they're worshiping the Mother, connecting to the female form of God, which is in the Western country.
Most of those people are not in the West.
Or not in the West, right. This is now beginning in the West, which is really, really great, because people are recognizing, or starting to recognize, that there are two sides, yin and yang, male and female, of the divine energy. And we have to understand the female part of the divine energy.
Well, that's what's been missing in the West. That's what is absolutely missing in the West. The respect and recognition and everything that has to do in a good way about feminine energy, including God as a female. But it hasn't been lost in the East. It's been this tradition. I mean, we were talking the other day about some of the beautiful teachers in India and the way they present this knowledge and the way they present it as an unbroken string of, an unbroken line of worship and devotion and practice and blessings. Literally, historically, a couple thousand years old, and we know it's more than that.
Much more than
and
that. No.
That is a gift that we do not have in the West. We're starting from the ground up in the West in terms of recognizing the Mother.
So it takes a lot of change in our belief system to understand the feminine aspect of the divine, but it's also something that's so incredibly beautiful because, the Mother, the Mother energy is close to us. We understand that. We felt that love from the Mother. We see that in a mother's love for a child. It's part of the creation. We see it in all the animals and how they take care of their young and teach their young. So it's a familiar part for us. So to relate to this infinite aspect as a mother, it makes it easy for us to come close to her, to come close to God. And that's one of the great blessings of really of the mother energy, that we can reach God through the mother energy very easily, because we can imagine what that love is. We can imagine it. We can really see her creation, see this incredible creation, and see how much love there is in the creation. And that helps us to connect.
We need that connection. Actually, I think in the West, we don't love, we don't have compassion, we don't have empathy, we don't reach out in a collaborative way for mutual understanding and common ground as a norm. And all of those things are the mother missing. All of those things are the mother. That is every mother, that is every woman who's embodying that energy.
And every man, because every man understands this and needs to develop that.
Well, can understand it.
And can understand it. It's part of male. Every person has both energies in them. But the women are, it's easier because of their nature to understand that. But it's also the same part of the man's process too, to awaken, to become, Shiva, when he gave the 64 tantras to Parvati, to Shakti, he said, every man must become like a woman to receive them. To be eligible to receive that. And it doesn't mean obviously turning into
transgender. I mean, today that's a dangerous statement.
Yeah, and it's not that.
It's not literal.
But it's that the true feminine receptivity, the true really that receptiveness, that gentleness, that we know as the pure mother energy. And so everyone needs to awaken to this energy inside of them, especially spiritual people, if we want to realize the ultimate truth. We have to everyone has to realize that inside themselves. So let's talk a little about Navaratri, because Navaratri is, now we're in that time, and it's for those of us that have experienced Navaratri before, it's a very, very joyous time. Even if it may start out, sometimes the mother purifies, so there's a purification happening. But we've experienced her we can experience her energy so powerfully. It's said that she comes down and descends onto the earth plane because she lives in her own loka, and she lives in every being in the earth. But there's a time when her energy descends, and that's now. And they say she even walks the earth. That's and of course we know that that's true.
Yes.
But this is a time when we can connect really, really easily to her and receive everything that we need from her, from material, emotional, to spiritual. And that's what she's here to do, to bless us with what we need. And also just as an opportunity for us to connect to the divine. She's making it easy for us. When we do any practices during this 10-day period, especially, any sadhana, any charity, any kind of sadhana, that means meditation or chanting or reciting the Vedas or going to a fire puja or listening to a satsang. These are all things that when we do them at this time,
reading the literature, reading her stories, talking about her, talking
about our experiences of her, trying to understand more and more how she comes, and that's something that I hope, can we do that today? Can we open for the call today or not?
No.
No, okay, we can't do that today.
No, we're not set up.
Okay. But when we hear the stories of other people's experiences with the mother, we feel that Shakti. And so we get a taste of because it's really her supreme energy that we're feeling. So sharing those stories is another aspect of that's very powerful to do at this time.
Well, how many Navaratris have you celebrated in your life? as a Western woman in this lifetime.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to say the number.
Yeah,
but it's more than
I
me.
can.
But that's only because you've been practicing
Right.
in Eastern spirituality longer than me. For the first time I heard the word Navaratri was probably after I moved to Penaconda in
India.
maybe 2000, because it wasn't something that was promoted or practiced here at all by Sri Kaleshwar, our teacher. And I can say it didn't make a lot of sense to me, as most things Eastern didn't when I first encountered them. 9 days, 9 fire pujas, a lot of prayers, a lot of teachings, a lot of sadhanas. But the effects wear on you. And it's I don't think it's ever been more important than now to really turn to the mother during this time. This is her creation. Everything has a source, and in nature we call that source the mother. Scientists call it the mother, biologists call it the mother. It's the mother. In the creation itself, like the Big Bang, the universe, the cosmos, then we depersonalize and we just say, maybe God, maybe a supreme consciousness, or maybe it was just an accident, whatever it is. But that's a mistake. If something is true throughout every level of the microcosm, up to the macrocosm, every single level, there's a mother to something that is created, that has consciousness and a willful influence over that thing. Then, of course, we draw the line where we can't understand, that's all. And this divine mother we're talking about, you could call it the Godhead. There's actually something even more than her, but that is something that is just one. There's not knowing it. There's no duality there at all. But as long as we're informed, as long as we can exist in any way, anything can be observed or experienced in any way, in any shape or form, the mother is there and exists. And Swami said, that poem of, that was a free association from Sri Kaleshwar, talking about his love for the mother. That macrocosmic mother who is the feminine force that creates everything and is embodied and nourishing and taking care, can also be known at the microcosm, and to everyone. Many people in this room, many people watching, and thousands of people around the world have experienced a physical encounter with a form that is a microcosm of the Divine Mother, with all the miraculous powers and everything that holds. Why is that important? Well, it's important because it changes us. Knowing the mother, whatever we're in relationship with, changes us. Whatever we really engage with, we are influenced by. And also we influence. But we need the mother's energy more than ever. Right now, if we talk about Mother Nature, wow, there's not much to say there. It's just going and going and going and going. So much suffering, so much oppression, so much confusion, so much violence and aggression, so much greed. Those are not motherly qualities. None of those are motherly qualities. Now, we're not saying, this is all the patriarch's problem or the father. It's just about balance. There's a time for each of those qualities in some scenario we can imagine. Right now, we live in a world dominated by it. The mother literally doesn't exist in the majority of the West. There's black Madonnas in few churches, different places. There's amazing devotees, especially in South Central America, Mexico, different places in Africa, certainly in Asia, certainly in the tribal peoples in Australia. It's not like she's been totally forgotten, but these are a tiny minority of the humanity on the planet who still know about her, and that tiny minority of the planet is not influencing what's happening on the planet. You could say this Navaratri is necessary to affect the change that we need to survive today. We need to survive through our relationship with the mother. And it's easy to do. During these 9 days, this is a lunar cycle. You can say, well, why 9 days? Why these 9 days? I mean, the mind is a big monkey. Well, we can give an answer. There's a lunar energy cycle. There's 13 moons a year, and every single energy day in those 13 moons of the year have different energetic qualities. The scientists will confirm this and do confirm this. This is the time in that lunar cycle of energy where the consciousness, the connection between the small little human beings and the huge mother's consciousness on this planet Earth is open. It only comes these 9 days, these 10 days. So that's what's so special about this time. We can't lose. If you're just watching this and you're eating your cereal, you're watching the hurricane news and it doesn't matter, you're still getting a benefit. We can do more than that too, but we need to be real. We're starting so far from reality. We're starting so far from where we need to be that anything we do is good news. Every 5 minutes of a puja is great. You can go to bed saying, I did something today, because you did. It will make a difference in your life. And in today's world, if this world is going to improve, if we are going to rediscover and re-embody the divine qualities that human beings actually are here to embody, love, compassion, collaboration, self-sacrifice, if that's going to happen, it's going to be because we're reaching out and we're connecting with the mother. There's not going to be another reason. There's not another route.
Well, one of the things that Sri Kaleshwar used to say, when asked the question, why is Mother Nature, reacting with all these disasters, tsunamis, earthquakes, and we're seeing that now, day by day. And what he said is, she wants to wake her children up. We need to wake up, and we need to see, we need to be different. And all of the qualities that you were talking about, we need to create a more equitable world. All of our children are equal. Everyone is equal. Whatever color you are, whatever caste you are, whatever gender you are, you're all equal. And the world is very divided right now. You can see that. This is not something that, it's like she's making that come to the surface because this is her job to purify ignorance. And that's part of what needs to be purified. We need to be a sharing world. We need to share with each other. We need to care with each other. We need to take care and create positive, healthy, peaceful vibrations for the world. And that's our job, And that's what she's teaching us, because you can see now people are, think all these disasters are happening, people are worried, is this the end of the world or whatever? But it's making them turn to something beyond the material world and their own self-interest.
Well, we hope so. But it has to be the individual who turns. That's the problem right now, is everything is collective. Make my neighbor happy, keep my friend happy. What do my parents think about me? Whatever it is. That is the root of the evil. The mother does not work through a priest who says, oh, here, take this. You're going to be fine. I'll say the prayers. The mother will take care of you. It's all about personal relationship. You have a personal relationship with the mother. I have a personal relationship with the mother. You have a personal relationship with the mother. Many people in this room have a personal relationship with the mother, and that is the meaning in our life. That's how we change. We heard this beautiful talk the other day at this fair that had to do with living more harmoniously in community. And this very eloquent elderly man in his 80s now, but very, very sharp and eloquent, was telling a story about growing up in London during the Blitzkrieg there, or whatever they called it, the bombing of London. And he was a child. He was like 7, 8 years old. And he went through hell. I mean, it was really terrible. And he described what that was like. And then at the end of the war, he encountered, maybe a few months after the war ended, he encountered a row of prisoners walking down the street in London or wherever he was, and he realized that they were German prisoners of war. And his first reaction was he had so much hatred and anger. He didn't even know how to contain it. He was a child.
Because he was
he's a child, but still he felt that. And he just went right up to one of them and he said, how could you have done that? Because he was talking about how the bomb, the buzz bombs, they would just stop. And then everybody's just waiting. They're going to come down somewhere. Nobody knows where. And all these people are being killed. Of course, it's happening on both sides. And he went up to this guy, and I imagined him shaking him, even though he's a little kid. But he was eloquent. He said, how could you do that? And the prisoner of war looked at him and said, I never wanted to go to war. I don't want the war. I don't know anybody who wanted to be in the war. Nobody that I was with wanted to be in the war. And then he was talking about his own family when they came back. You know, he lost different family members and things. And they said exactly the same thing. How did World War II happen when nobody fighting wanted to do it? That's our situation right now. Does anybody want the conflict and the violence that we're facing in the world today? Does anybody want the oppression and the inequality other than a tiny, tiny, tiny group of people who are self-interested in the worst way? No. The only way that's going to stop is if we all develop individual relationships with the truth which is great, with a truth which is divine, and a truth that we can believe in and embody ourselves, no matter what anybody around us is saying. And that's what the mother's all about. I mean, when you want to talk about war, if you need to take care of something, you don't need to worry. You have the mother on your backside. Nothing is going to touch you. But really, that's our mistake right now, is this collectivism. Collective institutions, whether they're higher education, they're religious institutions, whatever they are. Let's think for ourselves. Let's connect to the divine source ourselves, and let's make a difference in our own small lives. The world will change dramatically. And that's what Navaratri is about to me.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, let's go over the story of Navaratri. What is the story? It's about, and actually it's really the 9 days of Durga. And in India, sometimes it's celebrated a little bit differently because Durga is really the Adi Shakti, the Supreme Mother. And sometimes she could take the form of Lakshmi, Saraswati, Durga, Kali, depending on whatever it is she's doing in the creation. But the story is about Durga, and it's her going into battle for 9 days. The battle started today. So she's going into battle to destroy the darkness, the illusions, the negativity, all the things we're talking about.
Yes.
So let's talk about what that story is, because it's spoken of in a mythological sense, but as many of these stories in the Puranas, they actually happened.
They're happening now.
And they're happening now. So it's one time cycle.
Exactly.
But it is happening, and it's just told in a certain way. But it's the same story of fighting good over evil.
Mm-hmm.
So let's
for me to tell that story.
Yeah, I will. You're really good at telling.
What is good, though, to look at this as the 9 days of the defeat of evil.
Right.
And we're starting that now, and we're in that cycle.
Right.
And we can call it Mahisasura or Gajisasura or Bajasura or whatever these different demons' names in the Eastern tradition are. We can use those stories and we can call those names. But we're very, very foolish, and we will suffer that foolishness if we don't recognize that that is today. We can put different names on it, but who cares the name? Who cares the face? Mm-hmm. If nobody is cooperating there, if nobody is doing something that's against their heart, what power do they have? In this case, in this story, there was a great demon who received great power from doing great austerity to Shiva or Brahma. I don't remember where he got it.
I said both, you know.
But in any case, his name was Mahisasura, and he had pure egoism, pure power, pure control, pure greed, pure self-interest, pure anything that works is true, pure anything goes as long as it makes me happy. I think those are things that you can recognize in today's world. This was his nature, and he received a boon. Let's just say it was from Shiva. He meditated and received darshan from a great God energy that he could receive anything that he asked for. And he asked for to rule all the kingdoms, the three worlds, to rule everything.
To be immortal.
And to be immortal.
No one could ever kill him.
And Shiva said, okay, but it's against the nature of this creation to give a boon of immortality, so I cannot say that nothing can kill you. And so Mahisasura, in his arrogance, said, okay, only a woman could kill me. He has no concept that a woman could ever do anything to him.
Other than make him satisfy him.
Yeah, exactly.
Satisfy him.
Become his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So he received that boon, and he started to subjugate the entire creation under his will, doing whatever he wanted, creating massive suffering in untold souls. And all of the good characters of that creation time did their best to stand up to him and to defeat him. And they all failed. Indra, the king of the Devas, and all of his armies, and all of the good guys.
Right.
They're all failing. Then Shiva sends his son, the leader of his army, Subramaniam, and Mahisasura just wipes them out. Then Shiva himself, who in this mythology, or in this, it's not mythology, but in this analogy, is a massively powerful male energy, which can control everything, can handle any problem. And he went, and Mahisasura had no problem handling him at all. And they were all defeated. Vishnu went, no luck. By the way, Mahisasura took on the head of a bull. He wore the head of a bull.
Well, he was born from a bull. Actually, the story was that his father mated or something like that. It was one of those.
A little strange.
But
he had a bull's head.
The concept was he was a bull.
Yeah, exactly. He had a bull's taste and everything, and a bull's sensitivity and everything. So the world is being destroyed, and there is no hope. And so all of the good forces get together, and they're talking what to do. And they finally decide we have to go to the Divine Mother herself. We have to go to the Creator and get an answer for this. And so they all went to her loka, which is a real place, and had a gathering with her and told her of their plight. And she said, I will help, but I need the energy of every single one of you, their Shakti. And so these great beings, these great enlightened characters, also Maharishis and Rishis, I mean, incredible characters. We think humanity today is a nice shining example of humanity. It's actually at the very bottom of the rung of what is the potential of being a human being. This actually happened at a time when humanity was great, when the powers and the intelligence and clarity of that humans embodied was spectacular. Not to mention these gods and demigods. So one by one, they all released literally their life force, their Shakti, and it came out. And as it came out, it coalesced into this form, and this form called Durga. And she was fierce. She was terrifying.
But she was also beautiful.
Yes.
Actually, because she first comes as beautiful, and that's why Mahishasura comes. You know, he was like, "Oh, I want to have her."
Yeah. Well, she went onto the battlefield, and Mahisasura heard that a woman was on the battlefield, and so he just sent his lieutenants out there. Said, "Forget, I'm not even gonna get out of my bed," because he had like 100 wives, and they came back dismembered and hardly, if they came back at all, and just said, "I'm sorry, boss, but she's something else, so we can't touch it." And he said, "Wimps." And so I'll go. And so he went out of the battlefield. And yes, he saw her, and he saw her beauty. And she's 18 arms with weapons.
Right. And in one of the stories, it says, "I want you as my wife."
Yes.
And she said, I have this one, just this one thing. If you can win me in battle, you can have me.
Mm-hmm. He said, "No problem."
Right.
And so, and we forgot an important point. Another boon that he had received was that if a drop of his blood touched the ground, then another full form of him would come up. So that even if you wounded him, you could not kill him. Another one would come forward. And so she went onto the battlefield in all of her glory and riding a lion. And they went into battle, and she just systematically dismembered him. And interestingly, in the Devi Bhagavatam, which is a beautiful book of stories, an ancient Vedic book of stories about the mother, and includes a version of this story, even in the midst of being dismembered, he's saying, "I'll have you in my bed." It's like that Monty Python, scene where the person's leg lifts, come back and fight like a man. Even though, that's his arrogance. But I think we should really look at that. We have that same degree of arrogance all around us today. And she's just dismembering. And while she's doing that, her lion is eating every piece of his blood and every piece of his body before it touches the ground. And in that way, she defeated him. And saved the world, and destroyed the evil of the planet. Not just a little of the evil, destroyed all the evil.
Right.
And that's another one of her greatness. An army can destroy one bad guy, one bad regime, whatever it is. But she destroys all of it. And then for a moment, she's on the battlefield and the battle is won. And she still has all of the energy in her of all of the angels, the devas, everything good.
All the gods.
The Maharishis, the Rishis, everything is still inside her. She's still in that one form with supreme power and with a supreme intention. She exists for one reason, and that is to destroy negativity. That is her reason to exist. That is this period of time. Before she let that go, she paused. In satisfaction, I would have guessed, I don't know. But she paused. Not in the battle, not angry, there's nothing more to destroy. Before she released all back to the creation. In that form of her that is paused, that is powerful, but is peaceful and victorious, is called Mahadurga. And that is the form of the mother that we are worshiping today. Mm-hmm. That is the form of the mother that we will live the rest of our lives at her feet.
And that is the Murti, the statue in Penakonda is Mahadurga or Kanaka Durga is the same, and that's that stage.
Kanaka Durga is another name. Mm-hmm. Yes, Sri Kalashwar had in particular that form of the mother installed in his Dwarkamai in Penakonda.
It's such an amazing story for us today because we're seeing all the things that are going on today and in the world, and we're all very disturbed by them because there's a powerlessness that what can we do? What to do? Well, that's why they called on the mother, and that's why they called on that form. She's the one who can destroy.
It's very much like that. Mm-hmm. Who here has a real idea how to make a real difference with the negativity in the world? Mm-hmm. It's just eroding. We can complain, we can become depressed, we can take drugs, whatever it is people do. Or we can join that because at least it pays your salary. But it's still coming from the same hopelessness. What to do? There's no remedy. What to do? Majority, 98%, that's giving too much credibility actually to humanity. 90% of all human beings would agree that we are living in a negativity-infested time and it's not fair and we would all like it to be different. And we all don't know what to do as a collective. Well, this is the answer. We turn individually and we give our attention, we give our heart, we give our belief, we give our love to the mother and let her take care of it. And she will.
And also she takes care through us. Mm-hmm. As she develops us and as our Shakti grows, because really we are all embodiments of her. Everything in this creation is her. You and I and every person, we just haven't realized that. But our spiritual journey starts when the Shakti comes alive in us and we start to feel that energy, that bliss. Then and the reality that there's something other than this material world that opens up. And as our journey continues, it's her Shakti that is leading us to the ultimate realization of who we are. And what we're, in this tradition, what we're talking about is that each person becomes that word that Swami called it was Shakti Dut, servants of the mother. And when you're carrying a lot of her energy, you do have the ability to make a difference in the creation just by your beingness and just by your thoughts, your heart waves, your actions, any simple thing. It doesn't mean you have to go and lead the world down a peace march,
No.
But that's what's required, and that's really what she's asking. She's changing her creation through her Shakti Duts. And, we need that energy. We need the mother's healing energy. Also, the energy to break through the illusions. And understanding her illusions, understanding the negativity and the illusions that are happening in this world, and what can we do? How can we operate? And that's once you open the channel, the connection to the mother, she begins to teach you that. Which is why more people, everyone needs to connect to her energy. But especially now, as you're saying, it's a very specific thing. It's in our own lives that we need to have the egoism, really, when we're looking at Mahishasura. It's also the story of the ego. All his, wanting to be number one and wanting to have power over other people and wanting to be, believing himself superior, and each of it, he had a boon so that he would never die. And each blood drop is like the blood drop of our own ego, right? Every time you think it's dead, what happens, right? We've all seen that. And what is that? How do we become free from that? And that's what she shows us, and that's also where she's leading us, so she can, when we invoke her energy and connect to her energy, we can ask her to remove those illusions that are there for us, and and also make us recognize our own egoism, and which is only separating us from her and the whole creation. So this is it's not only a beautiful story, it's a beautiful reality of, knowing that.
And it's one to take seriously right now. It really is. We're not preachers. We're all fellow human beings living on this troubled planet together. And we'll have whatever years we have. And those of us, I've been around for 50 plus years. So have you. And I can say the world has changed a lot. I have children, I have grandchildren. I see children playing in the schools. There needs to be individual responsibility taken for what is running inside of each of us. That's the answer. That is the answer. We have to. As you said, the egoism of Mahishasura is all of our egoism. That desire for control is all of our desire for control. His misogyny is actually quite perfect for this time too, because we live in a time which accepts it as normal and okay. And that is so backwards from divinity. We have to root that out inside of ourselves. We have to. This is, different traditions are looking at disasters and earthquakes and hurricanes and famines and wars and saying it's the end times. And I think we can say that's a little naive. This will just keep running. There's not going to be an end. It can get worse. But we're waiting for something to tell us to wake up. Now is the time to wake up. And this time, waking up through the mother's grace is so soft and beautiful. It's the mother. It's the mother. Yes, on one side, she can destroy whatever's there. But to her child, what is more loving than her gaze? And we need to look to that right now. 2017. It could be an amazing year of transformation.
Undoubtedly will be, We're talking about she's we're seeing the world, we're seeing a lot of destruction happening in the world. That's also her work, okay? You know, a lot of things, in order for some new creation to happen, that is what she does. And it's a new creation has to happen in each of us and in the outside world. And what you were saying about the misogyny, you know, exactly. As long as women are seen, or not only seen, but they're not treated in the way that the world does, of course this kind of destruction is going to happen. We're going literally against the nature.
Yes.
And the nature will react. And that awareness needs to change.
Yes.
And that's really what we're here to do. We're here to change that awareness. And each time we're very powerful beings. Everybody needs to know that. Very, very powerful beings. What we think, how we feel, how we act to other people, it has a reflection everywhere in the nature. And especially if your soul is charged with divine Shakti, it makes a difference. You don't think, but it's like we're holding up a reality of something different, of a more truthful way of seeing, and a more gentle, compassionate way of seeing. And, you know, we need to find that peace and find those qualities and demonstrate those qualities in every little way that we can in our lives, you know. As I said, we don't have to do some, you know, heroic act. We can just be that way and in our life. Then we will also connect, we will feel the mother's presence in us. When we feel the mother's heart, when we feel that softness, when we feel that gentleness for others, she is there. Her presence is there. We can feel that. You know, whatever you know, horrific form she may take, like a scary form, or we see her in Kali, or we see her in battle. An innocent child can look at Mahakali in that form and say, Mother, please show me your form. Don't show me that. And she'll come and show her beauty. But it takes that innocence and that purity, and she will. Swami did that. He had that experience with her. Adi Shankaracharya, the same thing. Yes. The mother came in her fierce form, and he said, no, Mother, show me your true self. Because her true self is that. And
Jesus the same.
We always have to remember that no matter what, however the world looks, the destruction looks, her nature, her true nature is unbelievably loving and kind. And when we feel that sweetness, or in the presence of her sweetness and the presence of her love and her Shakti, there is no other experience on this planet like that. None. And we want that experience. We want that experience to grow and develop. And many who are in this program now have already connected to the mother.
Yeah.
Some have had her physical darshan. Others are still working towards that. It doesn't matter when that arrives in your cycle. It's not something it's not a, you know, you just have to surrender and understand that she chooses her right time when that is. Each saint, you know, Paramahamsa was 12 years before he saw her. And, you know, and he Yogananda and you know, all of the saints, they work towards that experience.
Yeah, I mean, we should mention that. If you're not familiar with Eastern spirituality or the traditions which are older than anything that we call history of any regard in the West, literally, in Penakonda, we lived in an ashram with Sri Kaleshwar next to an old fort which was built in the 1490s or 1480s or something, literally older than any building existing in the entire continent or North America, other than some Native American structures that may have survived. That is just commonplace there. We have to realize the longevity of the knowledge of reality is way older than what we appreciate on the West. Our arrogance is, we need to put that aside. Another thing I wanted to underline about what you said is the Shakti quality it's not gonna. We're not gonna have 50% of the Western population starting to worship the mother and embody these qualities. It's not going to happen. It's also not necessary. The mother does come through each in a full way, in a microcosm to macrocosm way. And each of us who takes that step in our own lives, who does that work, who puts that attention there, who gives the priority to love, who gives the priority to forgiveness. The priority, that means every time you have a chance, you do it. Even when you know they're wrong and you're right, you forgive. That is the mother. You love. That is the mother. When you practice that, you become a being of great light. You become a Martin Luther King. You become a Mahatma Gandhi. You become a Nandamayi Ma. You become very many different names we can mention. And if we have, it's not a chance of an if here. When we have a handful of beautiful, divine, devoted Shakti dudes in every community, then this world has really changed. Because it will affect everyone around. Some people will never really get that, but they will really understand the love and the compassion and the generosity and the good feelings of being nourished and believed and taken care of. And we need that so much. And that is what the mother's bringing to us. This can be a year of transformation in many, many, many lives. And in the years to come, those lives can help transform whole communities and whole countries and ultimately our globe.
As much as we see the destruction happening, there's also the awakening happening at the same time. And that's really what really, as discriminating characters, to remember to focus on that energy and be aware of what's happening in the world. But at the same time, our job is to be focused on that. And when you have a connection to the mother, when you have these Shakti, a channel for Shakti, then you have her power as well as her love. And her power, as we've seen with Mahishasura, that power is invincible.
Yes.
The mother can give, she has blessed boons with the ignorant and made them, poets.
Yes.
Kalidasa.
She can do anything. She's making this. She's making us all believe that this is real. That's an amazing illusion.
That's right. She's making us believe we're all separate, that we're all of this is her play and her illusion. And, but she can grant anything. She gave the great warrior Shivadas the ability,
He conquered a kingdom with one sword.
Because he blessed that, and he gave that, she gave that power object to him. Kalidasa, he was ignorant.
Yes.
He then suddenly became a poet.
Yes.
She makes the ignorant wise. She makes the rich poor.
The source of every miracle that we know about Jesus, the source of everything we know about Jesus, is a reflection of the mother. In this case, his mother, but his mother is an embodiment of the mother, Mother Mary, and the Divine Mother. So take off the glass ceilings and know that your good wishes will have power. You wish well for someone. You see that child in Walmart who you can see the pain, you can see the dysfunction of that family. You can see that. What do? When you have, through your own devotion and practice, a connection with that divine source of motherly love, your good wishes will make a difference. You can look at that child. You can send them love. You can say a word or two, or even a look. You can think about them that night in your prayers. It will make a difference, and we have seen this time and time again. That is how the world changes. Each of us living our lives in a more divine way and implementing the love that we feel flowing through us on behalf of the mother. This program is about that. Fire pujas, study, meditation, all of this supercharging, super turning the attention. You're so lucky to have taken this course. If you know anybody who wants to help the world the way we've been talking about, you should tell them they should take this course, and there's not any good reason they shouldn't. There's really not. If they care about the world, if they care about the suffering of their family, if they care about the suffering of their workplace, if they care about whatever it is that they feel hopeless about, they should take this course and watch the results.
And that's really the transforming power of her Shakti. You know, once you have a link to her Shakti, that's a link to the source of power. That's why all the gods said, where do we go for power? We go to her. She, you know, if Lakshmi leaves, Vishnu has no power. If Parvati leaves, Shiva has no power. You know, that is the power. And so when we connect, we also get the power. And that power means our thoughts have power. Our sankalpa, our intention. So like you were saying, when we're seeing something in the world, we're seeing something we don't like, we're reading the newspaper, instead of just bemoaning the fate of the world, send your intention there.
Exactly.
Send your thought. Put something positive in its place, you know, and don't accept the overwhelming reality that's trying to be given to us, because that isn't reality. That is just one big illusion, and it's all these Mahishasura characters who are just running the globe, going crazy, right?
Yes.
Okay, well,
with a bunch of people around who feel powerless. That's the main problem. There's always characters who are power hungry. Every age, every country, it doesn't matter. Who cares their names? It doesn't matter. If we didn't have people who would do what they wanted, then it would be meaningless. Find the meaning for yourself. And like you said, the ability to create in a positive way in this world, every single human being embodies. Every single human being. Talk to children. They're all magical thinking.
Right.
But not because they're crazy. Very few of them turn out to be schizophrenic. Very, very few. A few of them turn out to be geniuses. And if you talk to those geniuses, they're still magical thinkers. What does magical thinking mean? It means you just believe that what you think and what you want will come true. And this world is full of good people. This world is not full of bad people. There's a few bad people. This world is full of good people. And harnessing the power of even a small minority. Our teacher said the number 15%. And I'm going to hang my hat on that, if I have one on. 15%, if 1.5 out of 10 people will operate their lives in a positive way, whether it's rational or not. It doesn't mean to let yourself die of starvation or whatever, but choose positivity, choose positivity, choose positivity. Turn to positive groups. If somebody is not making you feel good about yourself or the world, stop paying attention to them. Doesn't mean you have to call them a bad name or estrange yourself from them, but take responsibility for your life. How positive is it? How anxiety-ridden is it? How creative is it? How destructive is it? Wherever you notice something that you would like to change, simply change it. In a short period of time, it will change. In a program like this, it can change very dramatically in a very quick period of time.
Those who've been doing the practices of really these Shakti practices for some time are very connected to the energy, the Shakti energy. And it is, we've been working with that energy, which is what, that's what our teacher, Sri Kaleshwara, said. You need that power. You need the mother's power in this age. Because we're talking about this age is when, he said, the dark forces have the upper hand. So the good don't have the upper hand in this age, as we can see, But that's one of the reasons why releasing this power to the world and releasing that and everyone's connection to the mother, because then everyone can be like Kali Das, everyone can be like Shiva Das, and receive whatever is needed to help, which is one of the reasons why Sri Kaleshwara always spoke about having darshan with the mother.
Yeah.
The reason was not just simply for your own enlightenment, because that was easy. It's because you go to her, and why all the saints go to her. She's the source of the power. She's the source of all the miracles. You go to her to receive some ability so that you can help.
In order to help.
In order to help. That's the only reason, not for your own satisfaction or to gain the wealth of the world. You know, you're gaining something that only the mother can give. And when you have that, when you have whatever she's giving, and she's giving all the time, it really makes a difference to how you impact the world and how you impact people. And she's teaching us through the energy. I want to read something in a minute because there's a lot, as I said, we started talking about, we're in different, everyone is in their own relationship with the mother, and they've connecting to her energy, and then at different aspects of her darshan. You have energy darshans, there are darshans in your dreams, darshan. There's lots in your visions. There's lots of ways that she comes, and also in all of the nature. And then finally, she comes in her physical form. Now, sometimes she comes in her physical form, and you're just not aware of it. I can say probably many people here have had that experience. They don't know it, though. You know,
right?
She comes as an ordinary woman.
It's called tricky darshan in this tradition. I don't know why.
Right, because anyway, but she comes that way, you know, and but also she comes in physical form, which is what the saints have done sadhana for since the beginning of time. They have gone to her, all of to receive her energy, and that's what we are doing. We're in that tradition. We're in the tradition of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He is in our lineage. Sri Kaleshwara is a next extension of that. You know, he brought the reality of the mother to the world, Ramakrishna first, you know, and the reality of having a very active relationship with the mother. He saw her every day and communicated with her, and even argued and wrestled with her, you know.
Figuratively speaking.
Right, but no.
But had a real personal relationship. I mean, he is the embodiment of the personal relationship with the mother, which is the goal of all of ours. It's unlikely that many of us will attain that height of relationship with her, but he is the example, just as Jesus is the example in so many ways. He's the example of the reality of the personal relationship with her.
And many, you know, we also know that the predictions, many people over time will have a kind of relationship with her like that. And we'll see her. You know, she'll make herself known to large groups of people that way. So she would walk the streets of Pentecosta and show her many arms to the children, you know.
To the pure of heart.
Yeah, and we, you know, this kind of sounds phantasmagorical to someone who doesn't know any of that. But
nobody who's watching this.
But but if you look to Ramakrishna and you look to his relationship, it gives you a clue. When you look to Swami Kaleshwara's relationship with the mother, and he took it one step further, which was that he gave his students the channels to connect to the mother and experiences of the mother.
Right.
And in this program, there are some audios of people sharing their experiences.
Yes.
This is a program a few years ago when we asked people to share their experience of the Maheshwari initiation that took place in 2007. You should listen to that. First of all, it's fascinating to hear people's different experiences of how she looks, what form she will take, and also to feel the energy. Because you can't separate her from the energy, you know? That she is the most sublime energy. She's the supreme energy that gives everything form.
She animates all.
She animates all and animates all.
Yeah.
So for example, your ability to speak, your ability to think, the ability to, or to be inspired. Every time you're inspired, the goddess Saraswati is downloading some idea to you. You know, every time you feel or you have a good idea to put in the creation, that's the goddess acting through you. So there's many ways that she acts through you. And the more we develop, you know, having these channels and having these experiences is more than just having experiences. it's about, first of all, receiving her energy, because there's nothing like that energy and what it can do to you, the effect the transformation has on you. And the enlightening, it's an enlightenment experience. But it also connects you to her energy. Like once your vibration raises to a certain level, she's very drawn to you.
Mm.
You know, she starts to play with you.
Mm.
You know, she has this creation that's huge, billions, trillions, whatever, and they're all going along fine. But then when certain of her children start to wake up, and they start to, and their vibration goes to a certain level, then she pays attention, and then she starts to play in a different way.
Well, she's raising us,
She's raising us.
I mean, yes, everything is there. She's like a gardener, and there's this massive garden, and it's there, and it's taken care. There's a lot of rules that are taken care. The watering system's in place. The weather's understood. And so, but just as any gardener, if a plant starts to do well, you'll never not pay attention to that plant. And what is the purpose of this creation? The purpose is for each of us in the human lifetime to wake up and recognize our true natures. And our true natures are actually creators, same as. We're not God, but there is no difference. There's no separation. As you said, when we have experiences of her closer and closer, then you can't separate your energy from that. Even listening to a person talk about a story that's 10 years old, listen to them recount in a very, they're really reliving it, they're open, they're relaxed. Wow, you'll feel that energy. That is her.
Yeah.
And that's something to point out right now. This is a dark age, there's no doubt about it. This is an age of materialism and an age of extreme suffering. We won't talk about karmas or anything like that. We'll just say, this is the world we live in. What's the point? This is also the time that many, many, many souls are recognizing who they truly are. In a way, that extreme darkness is making the light not only more valuable, I mean, we all see the value for the light, but it also makes the light easier to find and to grow. And this is the age that 15% or more of the population of this planet is going to wake up. That's why you were born on this planet, to wake up now. And what is the purpose of waking up? Because as you said, enlightenment is actually a very selfish thing. It's a very selfish thing. How does your enlightenment help anybody other than the peace that you have in your own life and the peace you might have by not giving trouble to the people around you? Maybe you write a book and you make some money. Maybe some people feel a little better about themselves, taking a few words of wisdom from your enlightenment. How does that really help? This is a different kind of enlightenment. This is an enlightenment of emerging with the reality consciousness of the mother. And that, in turn, changes the very creation. What we're talking about, what this Navaratri is about, what this knowledge that Sri Kaleshwar shared with us, all the formulas that we're practicing, all the fire puja techniques that we're practicing, everything we're doing is given to us by the mother herself in the form of ancient knowledge, which has now come up again to reach her in order to change her creation into a new golden age. Maybe we won't live long enough to see that, but we will live long enough to see it start. If it doesn't start with us, we don't know.
Well, we can already see it started, because never before has there been really so many people who've seen her. Really. That, as I bring up Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, because he is a great saint from the 18th century, and it was a very rare thing. And, that this has happened is only an indication of exactly that new age that's coming. When people would, number one of the most important things in that age is that the mother has to be remembered again. We cannot have, just thinking of God as only a male. They're both male. God is mother and father to us. Both energies are necessary there. We need to understand that. So you can already see it's already happening, but it's our job to also develop our relationship with her. And one of the things, for people who have already seen her and had her is like having her darshan again. And for those who haven't, continue to persevere in the sadhana. we were in India not that long ago and saw a temple in Mussoorie. Remember that? It was a temple that was I'd never seen anything like it because it was this beautiful white structure. And in India, nothing looks like that,
Nothing's
like
so clean
no
and
temple looks like that. It was like, what's going on there, And then we went there just because someone told us what it was. And there was this devotee of the mothers who practiced for 40 or 50 years
in that spot.
In that spot, with the sadhana to have her darshan. 40 or 50 years, every day.
Complete sacrifice. No other life.
Right, no, that...
Which is the usual way to find the mother.
Which is the usual way. But the persistence, the persistence, And then she appeared.
Yes.
And, he asked her, he actually asked, she said, what boon do you want? Which is something she would ask.
Like a child, what do you want?
What do you want?
You called me, what do you want? Every mother knows that.
And he said, just to protect this.
Yes, just protect.
Just protect. So there was a big earthquake there many years later.
Well, just like in the early 90s, this happened in the 1860s, and they built this temple to mark that spot. And then 100 and something years later, a massive earthquake happens in the area. And the entire area around it was destroyed, but not that temple and not that village.
And there were so many stories of these of saints wanting to see her and doing this extraordinary practice, doing sadhana, doing their, being persistent. It takes that one-pointedness and persistence, and you can't let go of that. You can't say, "Oh well, I want that today." Well, maybe tomorrow. It's like no, it has to be. She requires that dedication. So one of the things is how do we connect with her all the time, and we need to have our attention always on the divine, no matter what we're doing in our life. Each minute, however we say, it's like, okay, Mother is there, I see your form, I recognize it. You always have to have that. And that's her play with us. To say, are we going to get diverted by the latest thought? Are we going to get diverted by the latest interesting thing? Oh, that's appealing to me, that relationship, or that...
Or that negative gossip.
Or that negative gossip, or whatever it is, And that's how she's constantly training us. Okay, you want me? You want to know me? Well, she requires that dedication and focus. Okay, you have to have that. And we have it a lot luckier, actually. Some of the saints did unbelievable sadhana. Jesus did 9 years of sadhana just before he saw the Chamundeshwari form of the goddess. 9 years, and that goes without saying who that is.
Exactly. Nobody ever did sadhana as well as Jesus.
Yeah. So
number one.
We have to maintain that too, and also develop our relationship with her. Really, she's teaching us all the time. How is she teaching us? Through the energy. That's why we say, okay, we have to follow the energy. What is that energy? Why are we following that energy? Because that's how she's showing us. She is the energy, and she's showing us. So you can see all the great saints, it drives you crazy because they have to follow the energy, so maybe the plan was different, but...
We're turning right, not left.
Yeah, but if you don't follow that, that's how she's teaching.
What's a personal relationship?
It's a very, very personal relationship. Of course, she's the mother to each one of us. Yes. No more to you than to me.
That's right.
It's it's equal. It's just we haven't realized that yet.
That's right. And nobody has a more or less right to know her.
No. And she doesn't love one more than the other.
Exactly. Think about any mother, 5 children. Do they love one child more than the other? One child's a criminal, one child is a successful banker, one child is a housewife, one child is an actress, and one child has never left home. She loves them all equal. She may have her opinions like, hey, but when it comes right down to it, she would do anything for each of those.
And that's just a reflection of what the mother's love is really. And you know, Swami, we got to listen to, he was, when he wrote this poem that was in the early 2000s, and he was in his stages with the mother too. And so he would share his experiences, and then just like go off. I remember once him sitting on his northeast bed, and he just looked. He was in another world. Said, "You have to know her love and her bliss. You have to experience it." And that's really, there isn't any other experience of that kind of energy, that kind of Ananda. She is Ananda. When we look at, you know, like all of the creative things that we do, the inspiration we get, that bliss of creativity, that's her. You know? All of it is her. Everything in manifestation is her. So when we start to recognize that, not thinking, oh, what a great idea I have. You know?
Or what a stupid idea they have. I mean, both of them are like, okay, Ma.
Okay, Ma. I thought, okay, you know. But how can each of us go further in our own relationship? Whatever stage we're at with her, how to go deeper in that relationship and recognize in the end, like Swami used to say, she becomes our teacher. And that, you know, what does that look like for each of us? This is not something like there's a formula in the book, open the book and say how it goes. You know, but there are hints we can get. Actually, there was a beautiful, maybe you could read this. This is from Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. And with Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he always he approached the mother as an innocent child. Yeah. That was the feeling that he had, you know, and it's very beautiful and sweet because you see the innocence of it. And and that's also something we all need to have, you know, that kind, because when we are that way, how can a mother not respond, you know? And so it's, you know, that kind of please, you know.
Sri Ramakrishna describing this experience. Weeping, I prayed to the mother. O mother, reveal to me what is contained in the Vedas and the Vedanta. Reveal to me what is in the Purana and the Tantra. One by one, she has revealed all these things to me. Yes, she has taught me everything. How many things she has shown me? One day, she showed me Shiva and Shakti everywhere. Everywhere, I saw the communion of Shiva and Shakti. Shiva and Shakti existing in all living things. Mean, animals, trees, plants. I saw them in communion in all male and all female elements. Another day, I was shown a heap of human heads, a mountain high. Nothing else existed, and I was seated alone in their midst. Still another day, she showed me an ocean, taking the form of a salt doll. I was going to measure its depth. While doing this, through the grace of the Guru, I was turned to stone. Then I saw a ship, and at once I got into it. The Guru was the helmsman of that boat. I saw that I and you were two different things. Again, I jumped into the ocean and was changed into a fish. I found myself swimming joyfully in the ocean of Satchidananda.
So the real thing is he asked her, show me these things. Show me these things. You know, show me what are the Vedas and Vedanta. Show me these things. And he was Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was illiterate and, never read any book, actually. Actually, Swami never read any book either, except the Pali books pretty much in his adult life. But she revealed all of these things to him, and that's also for us to understand.
All knowledge is her.
Is her. All knowledge is her.
Mm-hmm.
All knowledge is her. Mm-hmm. So she can bless you with that understanding, what you need to understand, what you need to know in your life about your own, whatever you're going through in your own situation, your own development, your own evolution, your own obstacles, but also show me the reality of this creation. And we know once that link is made to the mother, it's an incredible journey where she is showing you constantly about who she is and what this creation is. And the more that we appreciate that and see her everywhere, see her, in the Lakshmi light, see her in the stars,
exactly.
See her in the earth, in the animals, and all the people. She teaches us through everything. This was Dattatreya.
Yes.
Through all of nature she was teaching. And that's really us. We are those kinds of souls. And she becomes a teacher. At one stage, when you're ready to wake up, she becomes the guru.
Yes.
She is the guru.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you're starting to wake up.
I mean, why do we go to a guru? For knowledge, for guidance, for energy, for help. That's all her. Mm-hmm. Where does the guru get it from? Mm-hmm. The guru's relationship is with the mother. And Sri Kaleshwara's greatness, and like you said, it really follows directly from Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Historically on this planet, in 100 years, it will be very, very clear. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa proved and lived in a life that was informed by a real relationship with the mother through these 5 elements in the physical world around him. And he helped countless people, and his teachings and the students that he left and are worldwide. But they didn't get Mother Divine Darshan. He got Mother Divine Darshan. Even his greatest student, he is the guru of Vivekananda, who all of us who have anything to say thank you to for Vedic and Eastern philosophy owe a huge debt of gratitude to Vivekananda. He is the first teacher who came to America to the West, actually, not just America. 1893, opened the entire West to the concepts of yoga and Vedanta. He was a direct disciple of Paramahamsa. But he went to his samadhi wanting to see the mother. Okay, well, for whatever reason, the stage was that, with amazing good works along the way. Yogananda came in the 1930s to the West and lived until the 50s, primarily in the West. Maybe he came a little early, I don't know the dates. He also was a big mother devotee and had Mother Divine Darshans, and wrote extensively about the reality of the mother, but also did not show that to others or teach others how to find that themselves. Sri Kaleshwar, born in 1973, took samadhi in 2012. He came and not only won the mother's darshan and had a personal relationship with her basically all the time. When we first met him in the 90s, every new moon, every full moon, he would call and they would have a conversation. Later, it's not our business to know, but he became greater and greater in his union with her. Mm-hmm. Not only that, though, and he shared, as you said, he shared his experiences with us. He told us what it was like. He told us what he went through. He told us these experiences. He shared the knowledge with her permission. He shared the formulas with her permission. Mm-hmm. And he shared the prophecies with her blessing, with hundreds of people to directly see and have their own personal relationship with her. And that is where we're headed now. And this Navaratri is part of that. It really is. We don't want to get this big expectation like, if I don't see the mother, I'm going to be a failure, or whatever.
No.
You know what I mean? No. But we need to keep that hope alive and work for that, because I can tell you from personal experience, it will happen. Mm-hmm. You can say from personal experience, it will happen. Half the people in this room can say from personal experience that it will happen.
And it's not that we, you know, like you meditate so much that you're in your intense desire, I have to see her in that way. But we have to, like, Mother, reveal yourself to me. There's many ways she's revealing herself to us. Be open to the ways that she's coming and showing herself. And the energy that's coming, the realizations that are coming, the how we're looking at the world differently, how we're seeing things. You know, the point is she's coming in so many ways, and knowing that, yes, at one point, yes, that will happen. You will see her in the physical form.
And know that is her.
And know that's her. You know, and that's the goal of the sadness. Okay, that's great. But not to lose our sense of peace and equanimity or striving so much for that. But keep the aim and the intention. And know that, and have the belief. You have to have the belief that it's possible, you know. And people do, because people are. That's what I asked people to share on the blog, because many people shared with us their experiences of the mother now. And they're having them, you know, people are having a lot of experiences. You know, there are symptoms of her energy, and so it's good to know the different ways that she appears, and however that is with us, you know. People sometimes see her somebody's at the end of the bed when they're sleeping. Who's that? Right? You hear her bells or anklets.
Or you smell that perfume. Or you feel the brush of the air, or you feel something brush. And you know, oh my God, that's the mother. That's your first impression is right. Then you look and there's nothing there, and then your mind will take care of it. Your first impression is right. But paying attention, as you said, finding her, looking for her. We're not pure. We can't every second say, okay, I'm going to be divine, and this is divine, the mother's here, the mother's here. We practice. All of our lives give us different opportunities to practice. Sometimes we practice because we're having a hard time. So we're going to practice with every negative experience, like, hey, Mom, I'm remembering you now. Please help. Please show me something here. Deepen my faith. You can practice in the beautiful moments, which are also great. The beautiful sunset, the nature scene, the lovers, the children playing, whatever it is. You feel that divinity. You feel that pure divinity. You can remember then, that's the mother. I'm seeing the mother. But practicing it in any way is bringing her closer to you.
Even when we watch our breath, knowing that it is she that's breathing through us. Because without her energy, we would not breathe. So just simply as bringing our attention back to our breath, bringing as much awareness to our daily life. Because that's, you know, and it's nobody has that all the time. No. But the point is to keep remembering that all the time. Bring it back every day to bring our awareness as much as, I forgot completely. I got so absorbed in all these other things, and I wasn't aware of my center. I wasn't aware of the breath. I wasn't aware of the presence. Just as simple as that, you know.
It will develop. I mean, this really is a special time. We're living in a miraculous age, not just an age of darkness. It truly is. And we're so grateful for everyone joining and paying attention in this way, because you will experience this and you will help others to know that's true too. There is no doubt about that. We're 20 plus years into the blessing of the knowledge and the practices. I mean, you're more, but because you started earlier.
And I'm older.
Well, slightly. But the point is like you said, we have to believe. No belief is solid 100%. You know, you can believe in the Golden State Warriors and they're 72-0. But there's a part of you that's afraid they're going to lose that next game. You see, our minds don't believe in anything 100%. It's okay. Let your mind be the incomplete, defective thing that it is. Just use your heart as much as you can. It's actually about the heart that this happens. If all knowledge is the mother's, do I get it automatically if I just study really, really hard? If I just work harder than anybody else reading, does that guarantee I'm going to get that knowledge? No, it's in the mother's hands all the time. Like you said, Kali Das. Kali Das was, he was illiterate. I mean, he was not even illiterate. He was kind of dumb, right?
Right.
He had no knowledge. He had a beautiful heart,
Mm.
unbelievable heart. During this 9-10 days, live from your heart more than you've ever lived before, and watch how the mother responds.
That's a good closing message. Good. Okay. So we wish everyone well. May everyone be blessed with all auspiciousness and happiness and the fulfillment. And it's really a beautiful thing that we're all together doing this. And that unity, that togetherness, she loves that, actually. That is the way to protect against the Maya aspect, is just have unity. So we're going to have, there are many more events coming up, and the sadhana is listed on the on Teachables. There are 3 sadhanas there that are pretty self-explanatory. And the blog, we welcome everyone to get on the blog and connect with the community and share their experiences.
Share and care.
Yeah, share and care. So
Fire pujas, energy transmissions, culminating in 10 days with Vijaya Dasami. We'll have another satsang on that day. And each of those transmissions is extremely powerful. There's hundreds of people joining it from all around the world. There's dozens of people here at the center who will be participating as well and generating and help to send that energy. And suspend your disbeliefs and welcome the miracles in your life.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.